Mm. So it's been a long time since I played a Halo game. Like, a long time. Mostly because I kind of divested myself of my Xbox a while ago, and we picked up a PlayStation 3 on the whole... Well, my wife saw the preview for Uncharted 3 and was like, it looks like Indiana Jones, a video game. You have to play this. So that's the reason I have a PS3. But I've actually... I didn't play the first Halo when it came out, because I didn't have an Xbox at the time. I actually didn't really get like into Halo until Halo 2 came out. I was working at a toy store at the time, and the midnight release of Halo 2 was such a big deal. It was huge. And by that time I did actually have an Xbox, or access to somebody who had one. Because this was back in the days of, you actually went to a store and bought a game, and if you wanted to play with a friend, you went over to their house. It's really weird to me that that was not that long ago, really. But anyway, I've had nothing but good experiences with the Halo series. It's been... I love the story. I love the books. I love just the way it's displayed, and it's really good. It's my generation's version of Star Wars. Although Star Wars is coming back around, but that's a whole different thing. Halo is like a really good marriage between sci-fi and military to me. It nails both genres really, really well. And it allows them to do stuff like this. This is Halo Spartan Assault. Now, there's a sequel to this game that's out, and I've played that one too. It's on my tablet, and I don't know how to stream from my tablet, so I'm not going to worry about that. This version I've had on my computer for a while, and I've played through some of it. It's a twin-stick shooter. It's a top-down, so it's kind of a departure for the series, but it kind of reminds me of like a single-player version of Halo Wars, which, God, I loved Halo Wars. A buddy of mine and I used to play just a crap ton of Halo Wars for the funsies of it, and we had good games, we had bad games, but that's the last real RTS I played, like, seriously. I've done a little bit of, like, StarCraft 2 and stuff since then, but... But anyway, enough of that. Let's get this started. Yeah, so you can see I still have some save data from before, but we're going to start at the beginning. So you get the idea. Okay, so loadouts are one of the few things that Halo has borrowed from Call of Duty that I really don't care for that much. I mean, I appreciate that they want to give you these options. Wait, what the hell's a secret drone? That might be our investigation. But... and everything that they're... So, like, beating a mission earns you XP, and you can spend XP on these extra options. Like, I could start with a Spartan laser if I wanted to. But for my money, I've always loved the assault rifle. And then there's the skulls, which are already unlocked. Which, if you are familiar with Halo, you know that these serve to basically make the game harder and to basically give you interesting things to have to work around. And then you can, purchase better shields, better damage, and these are just for, like, one mission. So I try not to rely on them at all, or too much. So, okay, survive the Covenant invasion. Spartans are using hologram decoys to confuse the hell out of those grunts. Never seen anything so funny. Alright. So here we are. I am this orange dude. And this orange dude. Woo! So I'm just reacquainting myself with the controls. Okay, so Y changes my weapon. I've actually always liked the way twin-stick shooters feel. Like, you get it's very instant feedback. twin stick shooters. Like, this is actually, I mean, like, this isn't really like the most polished Halo title, but you can tell, like, but like you can tell, like it you know, there was some work that got put into this, and honestly, this is one of the most polished twin stick shooters I've ever played. But there are ways that it could have been better. This does a really good job of giving you a lot of atmosphere and like showing you that there's other action happening. Like down there, over the side of the cliff, you can see. Ooh, crap. You can see, like, you know, the Banshees doing bombing runs, burning buildings. Like, there's obviously more than just you running around with a gun and killing everybody going on here. This is also one of the few times, one of the only Halo games I know of where the plasma, or the pistol is not as useful as some of the other weapons in the game. It's really hard to make not an assault rifle feel impactful in a game like this. Then again, it's been a while since I played this, and I'm sure that some of their different weapon options they made feel really good. But okay, so basically the story here is this: the Covenant launched this surprise assault on this planet where you were stationed. I probably should have gone back and hang on. Settings. Yeah, there we go. Backstory. Woo! And this is all set up as like a historical simulation, so there's no real consequences for losing here. But
Greetings, Spartan. I'm Roland, UNSC Infinity's AI. We're going to study the historical battles in hopes of increasing your tactical skills for the future. As a bonus, it's a pretty fun game you can play in your spare time. So let's get to it.
fourth wall leaning. This was released as kind of a preface to the newer Halo games that they were making once 343 Studios took over and Bungie stopped doing it. This was to kind of ease people into the transition. And it actually does a pretty good job of kind of letting you know that the legacy is in good hands, kind of. That said, this isn't really geared for... One of the things I like about twin stick shooters is how easy it is to... Okay, so if anybody's ever played Helldivers. Helldivers is amazing. It's got drop-in, drop-out multiplayer. There's, you know, random generation, a variety of weapons, a whole bunch of different, like, bits and kits you can use. And I really like that. There's not... It doesn't really feel like... Like, in the first Halo, like, you were the last Spartan... Except for you really weren't, but you were. At least in that game. So you get the feel of being the one-man army. And this kind of takes you back there, because you don't see other Spartans in this game. At least, not that I have so far. You're right back into that whole I am the one-man army thing. I don't know why I hit that button. I don't know why I hit that button. That's my melee button. I'm gonna run up and punch this grunt. Haha! Those guys have... I threw that in the wrong direction. So, I mean, like, okay, so there's grenades, there's a variety of weapons that you can use and pick up, and it kind of conforms to some of the Halo standards in that way. It kind of brings those into twin stick shooters. But it doesn't really add... It adds new stuff, but nothing that really feels unique, you know? Like, I'm still shooting guys. And, like, you know, the armor abilities and some of the Halo standbys, they make interesting transitions and are added in fun ways, but... Boom. But I feel like there's a lot more that could have been done with this. is what I'm saying. Like, one of the things that makes Halo good is it's multiplayer, right? And the fact that there's no... Like, how easy would it be to set up, like, not even... You could easily do, like, objective-based multiplayer games and maps with this control scheme and this setup. I mean... I guess that's one of the things that's one of the things I really wanted to talk about here, was the fact that you can do... I really feel like that genre has not been explored in the best way. Like, top-down shooters are fun, you know, running guns, and a lot of people enjoy them, but why haven't we seen a game like that? You know, okay, so like Overwatch is, you know, you have different characters to choose from, and you can different characters to choose from, and a whole lot of different, you know, scenarios that were like you're trying to accomplish this objective or that objective, or you're, you know, working together as a team to accomplish X goal. So why hasn't that been done in a game that's top-down shooter? Why are we so dead set on doing the first-person shooter for that kind of thing? And I guess the answer there is immersion. Like, okay, so you feel more invested in the scenario if it's a first-person shooter, and it feels more realistic because you only have the one viewpoint, and then you've got, you know, you have to carefully pay attention to watch that alley. But why couldn't you instill something like a fog of war to get the same effect on a top-down shooter? Like, you know, just because I'm looking in one direction doesn't mean I'm completely unaware of what's happening around me, you know? And this is one of the problems I have with first-person shooters, is like, okay, I'm looking in a direction, all I see is that direction. It doesn't seem to allow... Most, at least console first-person shooters, don't have like a field of view slider, so you don't have like that whole peripheral vision thing going on. You have a box that you're looking through, and just that box where you can kind of see your hands at the bottom of the screen, and then you've got, you know, HUD elements spread around on top. That's always seemed kind of limiting to me, as being, you know, and when you're sniping, you go into a smaller box. Whoa. What if it was a top-down shooter, there was fog of war, so that unless one of your teammates had eyes, or you had eyes on a location, there was no, you know, you could... It would... There's a lot of good team play and tactical viability that could come out of something like that, is what I'm saying. And the thing is it wouldn't even be that hard to build. You have, like, say, like 15 characters, you have 5-on-5 matches, and, you know, each team gets to eliminate 2 characters from choice, say, like a pick ban system, like League of Legends, say. You go with, you know, there's you know, 3 or 4 different types of games, like, you know, siege this objective, or escort this object to, or, you know, get in, get out. Like a 2-stage objective thing like Overwatch has been doing. And I know I'm mentioning Overwatch a lot, but god damn, it looks like a fun game. But I think that there could be a lot of very good things done with a game that looks kind of like this, with a similar design goal. And that's, you know, with... I'm just going to run up and punch grunts from now on. Not worth the ammo. But, so, if your design goal is to present a fun, quick multiplayer experience, why are we stuck in first-person shooters, is the thing. I guess it's bothering me. Ah. there's a lot that can be said for, you know, oh, you know, we can get better production values and show off our artistic skills with a first-person shooter. But I mean, like, look at this game. Look at this game. Like, can you imagine if this game had,
Got him in my sights.
you know, like, the production values and the visual style of this are gorgeous. I mean, it looks beautiful. If you had a, you know, a multiplayer game that looked like this, that was based around like objective control and you know, actually providing a good multiplayer experience, there is nothing that would stop you, I don't think. I mean, there's no reason to not be able to create a game like that. And I know exactly what my mother would say if she heard this conversation. My mother would look at me and say, well, then make it yourself. And the thing is like, okay, so there's a program that I've been working with a little bit on and off here and there. It's called Construct 2, which actually probably I could make, given a lot of time investment and all that, I could make that game. Like, I could. It'd be... might not be the prettiest thing, but I could probably get it done. Who is shooting my Wolverines? What the oh, it's a whole bunch of... Not sure how I assassinated him. I punched him in the face. That's assassinating somebody like James Bond as a secret agent. Whee! Oh, right. Kill these guys. I mean, like, these are just short levels to get us started, and they don't really have that epic. I mean, like, that's the one thing that Halo delivers on in spades, is Halo, the main console games feel amazing. Like, just to, like, the first time in Halo 3 that you land on the Ark, and literally everything is going to hell around you. The brutes are fighting the elites up in space. You're landing in hostile territory. There's scarabs all over the place, and you have to destroy like 3 of them in rapid succession. You're driving a tank around. There's the one guy who's singing Ride of the Valkyries if you do it right. I mean, the first time you clear that LZ and the Forward Unto Dawn, I think it was, swoops in and drops off basically a full armored company, and you just like gear up and it's like, all right, let's go. Like, that hits a huge button with a lot of gamers. Like, it's because it's that feeling that, you know, okay, we're gonna go do this. This is how we're gonna get it done, and we are not alone. How could we lose? Like, everything's going correctly. And even more so than just, you know, that moment where you're fighting against all of the odds and, like, you know, it's that last second and you know, hit the stop button on the big bomb or whatever the hell, or you take out the villain just as he's about to kill all your friends or something like that. Even more than that, that moment where it's like, all right, we have a plan. I'm part of this plan. You know, that feeling like part of the team, feeling like part of that force is just a huge, easy button to hit. Provided you do it right. Halo 3 especially did it really well, despite what anybody else might say. They just gave me a Wraith. Why do I have a Wraith? Oh, okay, I'm killing Wraiths with a Wraith. This should be fun. See, and this right here proves that vehicles are a thing that you can do in a top-down shooter. So why wouldn't you be able to throw in some variety and make it feel properly epic? Like, I'm not sure if later in the game there's going to be a moment like what I just described, like from Halo 3, where, like, you know, there's the whole of the UNSC behind me, and mad amounts of destruction are being wrought by me and some AI friends as we, like, roll out the tanks. And, like I said, I haven't played through the whole of this game yet. I've played a lot of it, but I haven't played through the whole of it yet, and I don't know if there is one of those moments. I hope so, because it's Halo, but I guess what just makes me sad is that we don't see moments like that more often. Like, is Halo really a good series because it delivers those moments, or is it Halo a good series because it's the only series that's delivering those moments? And why do those moments have to be limited to a first-person feel? Like, is it possible to get that visceral, you know, oh, this is going to be awesome feeling out of a top-down shooter without sacrificing what makes a competitive game interesting or a multiplayer game interesting? Like, if I could go through this game with like 3 or 4 buddies, and the challenge was ramped up, because I mean, this is, I don't know why, but this is like super easy. Which might in part be like the design of the game itself. I think it might just feel easy to me. Or these are like the first couple of stages, but I have never really felt like in danger. And I've just been talking this whole time. And I just... There's got to be a good way to make this feel like a challenge, you know? Without making it feel unfair. And I mean, like, against other people is always going to feel like a challenge, because you don't know what they're thinking, they don't know what you're thinking, and they're not playing by, you know, little pre-programmed AI rules. Like, I know I can kill grunts in spades because they're grunts. But if I was fighting, you know, another... If it was like me and 3 or 4 of my buddies versus another group of like 3 or 4 guys that all knew each other and were talking, like, would this not get more interesting at that point? Especially if you included things like tactical positions like these guys have, where you can say, okay, I'm here, which means that I'm, you know, I have a good position to shoot from. I have a good position to... You know, I have cover in this direction, cover in that direction, and I've got, like, say, like a sentry drone or something set up to see around that corner so I know no one's sneaking up behind me. And I guess one of the reasons that this feels easy is that I have full field of view. Like, this top-down field of view affords me that whole, I know where my enemies are. Not to mention I have a radar, you know, up in the upper left there, so I know, oh crap. Woo! Shotgun. See, I just got stuck with a grenade and I didn't care. Oh. Oh crap, that's gonna be a big explosion. So I really don't... Yeah, see, the thing is, I don't feel like... My shield was down there for a while. I kept running around and shooting people because I didn't feel like there was anything that could hurt me. Plus, doing that to somebody like who's on the other end of it, you know, who's looking at another screen and sees that happen to them. Oh wow, I actually died. If you can imagine that. All right. I guess I'll take this seriously. But cherry tapping. Yeah, just so one of the an example game that would actually is like what I think that this stuff could be when done correctly is okay. Like Death Watch was a 40K game, top-down shooter for the for Xbox, PlayStation, stuff like that. Came out about the same time as Space Marine. Kind of introduced people to the world and give you an alternate way to play it. Like that was a fun game because there was there were, you know, consequences to your choices. Like you could have the guy with the heavy bolter, you could have the assault marine, you could have, you know, the commander. And there were different ways that, you know, you could approach the missions based on who you had and what you were trying to do. And also like the way you upgraded your character. Like I just walked into an exploding set of barrels. Like, that should have killed me. See, this is actually doing a pretty good job of making it feel like, you know, I have to rush back and forth because my field of view isn't big enough to encapsulate where all of the threats are coming from. So this is a good example of the kind of thing you can do. Like, you could have, say okay, so this is kind of like me versus the faceless moot horde, but what if this was a faceless moot horde assaulting a position with other players helping? You know, like, other players were controlling, say, the elites. Like, so the grunts are a danger in their own because they're following their pre-programmed thing, but, you know, other players are also moving around and taking advantage of these openings and these gaps in my defenses that the mooks are creating. I have to protect my mooks and wipe out the enemy mooks, all the while making sure that, you know, the enemy mooks are dying and the enemy players are not being allowed to reach their objective. Oh, it's just a fucking wraith. Okay. Okay, get out of here, wraith. Watch it explode. See if I care. Hi!
Completed objective.
Mine. I don't want to board the Hornet. Oh. They're gonna make me board the Hornet. What the hell? So, okay, so... Really? I couldn't be the last guy out? All those guys are just gonna die when the Covenant rushes their position? That's just stupid. Spartans were always the last ones out. Why the hell was I getting out first? But yeah, so this game has potential, and it's a good starting point. Like, there is no multiplayer in this. Why is there no multiplayer in this? You know, there's no multiplayer in the other one either. That seems like such a huge missed opportunity to me. So, there's a lot more that could have been done with this, I feel, and a lot more that can be done with this genre entirely. Like, top-down shooters and twin-stick shooters are a staple of gaming. They've existed for a very long time, but I don't feel like they've ever really been fully explored in their functionality. Like, they could be so much better. It's like, it's like, okay, so think of like old horror movies. Like, the things that used to scare people in theaters and stuff would be like things that made them go, oh my, stuff like that. Not things that like give you nightmares or anything like that. Like the original Nosferatu or the original Dracula movies were much more about the psychology of the horror involved rather than actual scariness, you know? It was like, okay, so like the story of Dracula. This dude drinks blood and can turn into a bat and a wolf. And he's powerless in the sunlight. Yeah. It wasn't until like technology caught up to being able to tell the proper scary story that you got stuff like slasher flicks and jump scares and paranormal activity and all that kind of crap. So it's like arguments could be made that like the technology hasn't been there to make it what it should be yet, or somebody just hasn't had the idea. Like, Sam Raimi with Evil Dead really kind of turned horror on its head a little bit, I'm sure there were other like zombie movies and stuff like that before then, but like, Evil Dead was kind of a thing. And it really is, it's shocking when you go back and look at like some of these breakpoints, like some of the reasons that things became popular, and some of the reasons things still do become popular is because they're new, and they're fresh, and they do something familiar but differently. And I just feel like there's a real market for a competitive, multiplayer, objective-based top-down shooter. And yes, Mom, I know, I should just go make it myself. Maybe I should. But anyway, that's a job for another day. I do enjoy Halo Spartan Assault and Spartan Ops, which is the sequel. I enjoy them both very much. They're a lot of fun. I can just sit down on the couch with Spartan Ops and goof with that for a little bit while my boys sit on my lap and watch me, and they enjoy that a great deal because there's, explosions and grunts making amusing sounds. They're good games, and they really do capture the atmosphere of the Halo franchise, and they look gorgeous. They really do. But they do make me want more. And I'm not talking like more Halo. Like, there's a lot more Halo. Like, I can always just sit down and read the books again, or, when I can afford it, pick up an Xbox One and Halo 5, for example. But they make me want more from that style of game. 'Cause like I said, like, twin-stick shooters are very instant feedback, very instant gratification. You see the bullets, you hear the sounds, you watch them travel and hit your target, and it feels good as a gamer. It's very much an instant gratification feedback thing. Whereas, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of learning curve to it. You point and you click. Like, but when you start adding subtlety and nuance, like, say, the fog of war aspect to limit the field of view, you still have those basic feel-good mechanics, but you can layer this framework for strategy and for a meaningful player choice over it. And I guess I just feel like that hasn't been explored as well as it should. Or maybe it has, and I just don't know what the game is. Like, if there is a game that is like what I have described, somebody please tell me what the hell it is, because I'd pay good money to play a game like that. I would enjoy the hell out of it, I think. Especially because I'm tired of first-person shooters. A lot. Like, competitive first-person shooters with the whole spawn, you know, you get shot, you get killed, respawn, first team to 20 kills wins or whatever, have gotten really tiring. And objective-based gameplay is good and fun, but if it's tied to those same basic mechanics, it still doesn't feel as good as it should. Like, taking out a room full of guys with a rocket launcher only goes so far toward making you feel better when, 30 seconds later, they're all back, and each one of them has taken a turn beating your face in and killed you. So, but, if you have a more tactical view of the battlefield, and you can set up like choke points, and recon is more important because it affects what you can actually see as opposed to like what's being displayed on your HUD. There's a lot of gameplay flexibility out there, and a lot of design values that have not been applied to this genre yet, and that bothers me as a gamer, because it feels like a waste, almost. Like a lot of wasted potential. And wasted potential drives my wife crazy. Drives my mother crazy, too, now that I think about it. And there should be something out there for it, is all I'm saying. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for me for today. I've talked a lot and not actually accomplished all that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off for right now. I will probably stream again come Monday. So yeah, I'll take the weekend off. That sounds good. I'm going to take the weekend off and just kind of exist for a while. I should be starting my new job pretty soon, which is going to limit my streaming schedule because I'm going to need to sleep at some point. But, yeah. I'll probably be back Monday around 1:30ish or so. And we'll see what develops over the weekend, if there's something else I want to talk about, or if there's something else I want to play. So, yeah. Wish you all a good night, and a good luck. And seriously, if you've heard of a game like what I was talking about, fucking tell me, because I want to know.